it'd be cool to play. Did you ever play Piccolo?
Well, let's not worry about games. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest is here. And this fellow was nice enough to join us on a past episode a long time ago. He's one of Jewel's absolute all-time favorites. Jewel grew up loving this guy. He's more than happy to be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
the
Jesus.
former star of all that, Mr. Josh Server in the house. Yeah! Josh, man, thank you so much for doing this. And
Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me okay?
we can hear you great, dude. Thanks. So can
Amazing.
you hear us?
I hear you guys loud and clear.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
Joel, were you surprised?
It's going to take her a few minutes to get to it and calm down. She gets very nervous by these magical moments.
I just have
Hold
to
on,
step off.
my dog is literally fired up on the surprise.
Oh, your dog.
I got to be honest, Joe. I started going through the list, and I said I'm looking for people who we had just do audio and not video, people that you really love. And I'm like, man, I know that you were so psyched when we got Josh. I'm like, let's ask Josh again. And Josh, first of all, your PR group was amazing. Came around and said, Josh is thrilled to do it. Absolutely happy to do it. Can't wait. I'm like, man, that is awesome. We appreciate it so much. Obviously, like Jewel's very well prepared, usually all up on questions, etc. She had no clue you were coming, so
Yeah.
she is going to kind of ask stuff on the fly. I'm going to send her a little list of things that I
You
That's
just have
got
amazing.
together.
Well, first of all, happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you so much. Thank
This
you.
is today your actual birthday?
It's Friday, so that's
Amazing.
always good. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for taking the time. This just it's so cool because me and Jeff talk all the time about people that we've had on, for our interviews that have only been audio and how great it is when we see them live. So thank you so much. It means the world. And
Guys, I'm
I know
really
you're
happy
busy.
to be here. So let me ask you, what year was that I came on the show? Do we know?
I could look it up if you want to fire something at him to ask. I could look it up. It's been a few years because we have been in this format for a couple of years. So it's been a while.
Yeah, 5 years ago, maybe.
Was it
Was it
5
5
years?
I
Wow.
think so. Yeah.
Time
'cause
flies. And you know what? I feel like nothing has really happened in the world in the last 5 years. So
No,
big
nothing.
deal.
Right. We haven't been
Pretty much
there's
the status quo, right? Same as usual.
Right.
Again.
Sure. for
no
sure, yeah.
pandemic, no lockdown, no trapped in your house. No.
No, I want you to know, like I wore green because I
My
knew.
man, there we go. Right.
I know it's not true Eagles green, guys, representing Philly, but I knew that I had to throw in some green for
Oh
you
my
guys.
gosh. Thank you so much. I have a shirt for you. If you could just hang on 2 seconds. It's like super serendipitous that I would even pull this out right now, but hang on 1 second.
Amazing.
This is awesome. I'm
You
basically
don't just see weave for shirts for different
I
wardrobe
know, right?
wardrobe changes. Jeff,
Kind of
it's
what we do.
so good to see you guys again. Yes.
Yes!
Look at that. Woo!
I was considering wearing this shirt tonight because I'm like, how cool.
That would be
is so
something else.
easy.
Did you have any
Insane.
idea who the special guest would be?
None. I actually thought you were the guest was a female. I'm like, who could it be? Linda Carter? Like, I have no idea. Oh my God, that's so cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And yes, it is good to like be here on like a video format with you guys.
Yeah, definitely a lot cooler. And we've made the stride. And basically what happened was we got into Jewel found us a studio locally, which was great. We sat next to each other, and it was really cool. But we were getting local guests. We couldn't get the nationwide guests unless we went like this. So the pandemic comes, studio shuts down, pretty much shuts us out. I'm like, all right, we need a plan B. So an awesome team, Mr. Jimmy Starr and his co-host Ron, they do a very popular program. And I said, how do you do this? And he said, you go to StreamYard, it sets it all up. It's like a studio, and you can see the guests. And it's been such a big improvement. I got to tell you, it makes me nervous. Male or female, I get nervous. I can imagine how Jewel feels not even knowing you're coming. So
No.
I love surprises. Are you, Jill? Do you like surprises? Are you a big person on surprises? Are you like?
Oh no. I just like to be prepared. Yeah, and if I knew you were coming, I would have, studied all night. But no, it's such a great surprise, especially because, we've had a conversation before. So yeah, how have you been? How have you fared with the pandemic and everything? We've had a lot of actors on that have auditioned, you know, through this format have a similar background as you
Yeah,
do.
you might see my
Yeah.
audition, basically my studio, my home studio. So like we got the dog in the back. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
it's truly learning how to kind of operate from your house. Listen, obviously it's been a crazy time for everyone, and everyone needed to like learn how to pivot. Thank you. Learn how to like pivot to some of these like new formats, right?
Right.
Learning how to audition. It was already starting to be a lot of like self tapes and things like that, guys, right? But it's definitely much more than that. Zoom callbacks, producer sessions on Zoom. I actually take a class every couple weeks on Zoom.
Wow.
So like to kind of get myself used to that. It definitely took time, but I'm so glad that I've been operating in that world for a while now, because I feel much more comfortable in these situations, right? Just for this type of stuff. But also it's amazing because I get to connect with people all over, right? Like you're not burdened by having to travel and go places, which is also fun to meet people and be in a live environment. But this is, like the fact that I can, chat with you this way is pretty cool. So it's been challenging, but at the same time, I'm glad that I'm starting to make those pivots. And so, I'm starting to kind of see that in my work, and I've been working really hard and diligent on that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And it has certainly been a big help for us, that just for moments like this. And I started off a couple of years ago because she's also a huge fan of Jamie Kennedy, the comedian. And we ran into online his girlfriend. She came on, she was great. And I said, can you do us a favor for Jules' birthday? And then he popped on. That's how it's become this mystery thing where every year we surprise each other with somebody great.
Is this a tradition now?
Oh yeah, we do it to each other every year now. It's grown on us and we love it.
Amazing. When's your birthday, Jeff? Is it spaced out, or are you back to back?
April. I'm in April. And
April baby, nice.
We try to book a few months in advance and make sure it's loaded up, because actors like yourself, musicians, artists are always busy. Things happen like that. Like you could pick up tomorrow and get a project and be like, I can't make it. It's happened.
Sure.
So we book out months in advance. So she's like, leave your birthday open. We're booked to like April 9th. She's like, leave your birthday open. So I'm like, okay. I'm going to hit you with a date. See if this date rings a bell at all.
Okay.
November.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. Happy to be part of Jules' birthday celebration.
I'm thrilled you're here. I really am happy.
Yeah.
And she had a hard time signing in. I'm like, oh, what's the link? Got like a fault in it or something? So I'm like, that's so forget here. The date is November the 13th, 2017.
Is that when we did it?
That's when we saw you last, or told you last. That's over
insane.
5 years ago.
You look amazing. Frozen in time. You're frozen in time.
I feel that way because you, God bless, you look exactly the same as the pictures we were looking at back when we first booked you. You look exact. I have aged terribly. I've grown this big ugly beard. I had
Guys
heart
don't
surgery.
age. Guys don't age. You have it so easy. You know, you get a little gray.
Well,
You're
respectfully, Jeff,
distinguished.
I only have 2017 as a reference. So for those periods of time, you look great.
Thank you very much. See, Josh Serverley, did you hear that, honey? My wife's
It could have
probably
been like
watching.
14, 15, 16 could have been really bad years for you, and I would never know, you know?
Agreed. I thank you for that. So what's been going on? I know you have titles. You keep on acting. You were part of Warped in 2022. Some movies, 2020 on Uploaded. 2020 was Await the Dawn. What do you got going on? What's been new? You still in the acting bug? I know you said you're trying to create some younger generation shows. What's new?
Oh yeah, no, I've been really kind of diving into the acting stuff. Like last year, a couple of movies came out. I had a movie called The Final Rose that dropped on Tubi. More of kind of like a horror comedy genre, really fun, like Scream meets The Bachelor. That's like the concept. They did an amazing job of that. I kind of come in towards the end. I mean, there's talks about them doing another one and even extending our characters a little bit more. I have a movie called The Killer Service that's hitting the film festival circuit right now. I just got into a film festival last week. I just did an episode of a show called Cocaine Sisters.
Oh,
Sounds like a goodie.
Branching out and doing some different stuff, like
Sure.
Really fun bad guy roles, more dramatic stuff, like stuff that just like people haven't really seen me do. And like you said, my PR team, my team has just been absolutely rocking and rolling. So we have some really the Cocaine Sisters should be out, I believe, this year sometime. I can let you guys know when you can see that. So some stuff from last year rolling into this year, and then we already have some stuff in the works that, you know, sometimes we can't we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
That's
you can't
awesome.
until it happens. But yeah, man, I'm just I'm really blessed and grateful to be doing what I'm, you know, I've just been working and acting a lot lately, and I'm really happy to be back and doing it again.
That's terrific. And I want to throw, because I'm going to let Jewel loose on you in a minute. But before she does, I just want to say this real quick. When it's only distance, you're saved by cameras.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So,
Hey guys,
like
it was
when-
great to be on the show. Thanks.
Now I am blushing.
Absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you,
When
Josh.
we went to when I went to do some research, as we do, and look to see what you got going on, and when you Google you, it's whatever happened to the cute kid, whatever happened to the stud, whatever happened to the nice guy from all that. I'm like, man. So when you say branch out, Cocaine Sisters kind of playing the bad guy, yeah, get into a new something, because everything was like, what happened to the cute kid, the hot guy, the good looking guy?
You
I'm
know,
like,
it's just listen, I am so, it's amazing that what we did on all that and how many people love it so much to this day, and how like people know me from that, right? But when I, as a fan, and like what I like to watch and what I like to stream is sometimes a little bit, you know, not just comedy, and even like the comedy stuff. I like you know, single cam comedies like Ted Lasso, things like that, you know.
oh, it's your favorite.
So just, I think comedy is always going to be part of something that I love to do, and I want to continue doing it. But I also do want to, you know, show some of my dramatic stuff, and you know, and have people see me in kind of a different light. Because like you said, yeah, you Google and it's you know, it's basically just pictures of your boy. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we love your boy.
And we love your boy. I love your boy. But it's nice. It's nice to stretch yourself creatively and have people view you and see you in a different way, and give you know, fans that have been with me a long time just like a different version of you know, what I like to do is my creativity that I like to bring to it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna walk away and leave you the birthday girl. No, I'm gonna stay. Okay.
You're gonna bail on us?
No, I got you. I like
No,
making
you're
her
not.
nervous. That's great.
Who knows, that would make me super nervous. But you know,
Fire
just
away,
thinking about-
fire away. I know you don't have anything prepared. We surprise you. Fire away.
I don't, but you know, I watch all that with my niece and my daughter now, and I'm just like, and we crack up. Like it still holds.
It still
to
holds
this
up.
day. Yeah, and it's that such a good feeling to know that your characters, and I mean Keenan, like, and you're so cool with Keenan, like how that comedy still holds up. Because
Yeah.
a lot
Well,
of 90s
I'm really
comedy
cool
doesn't-
with the whole cast. We all see each other, and everybody. It's like, it's so strange. We fall into a rhythm where like nothing is really, you know, changed, right? It's not like drama or anything like maybe some of that other stuff. Like everybody really does love each other, and it's like there's a like a kinship with your like brothers and sisters. I always say it's like being with kids, like a family reunion, or I'm sorry, like a school reunion, high school reunion for people who didn't go to high school, right? Basically. And so yeah, I mean, I have great relationships with everyone. Keenan and I are really tight. We got to do that. I don't know if you guys saw, but I got to be one of the guest presenters with for Keenan's Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, saw that. It's awesome.
Incredible. It was such an honor. Kel was supposed to do it with me. I had a movie that he got booked and had to be in Canada. So like, it was just, you know, try to hold down the fort for him. And then they got to do a bunch of stuff on like SNL, and there's just been a lot of that nostalgic stuff lately, where fans love to see us together, which is really, really cool, you know? But when it dropped on, I think it's on Netflix now, correct?
Yeah.
I think it's still there.
That's huge.
You know, the fact that people are watching it with their next generation is pretty freaking awesome.
And that's awesome. And I love that you guys are just, I hate to say this, but unscathed and still working. And you and Keenan and Kel is working all the time too. Like, you guys, how do you think not to be a downer or anything, but there's been a lot of child actors that have gone down the wrong path. How do you think you guys have fared, and what kept you?
Yeah, I don't, to me, like, that's a personal journey for everybody. So I don't know if I want to do a deep dive on that
Not a
topic.
deep dive, but just
I would just say that for me,
Let's
like,
do
you just got to keep working on yourself, right? You got to keep, like, so for me, I know that that's been a big journey for me the last X amount of years. And, it's not always the easiest trajectory. It really isn't. And a lot of people have it much worse or better than other people. And so, yeah, I can't speak to anyone's personal journey, but the fact that everybody's healthy and doing well and like working again, that's freaking awesome to come out of that and to see people doing well and being successful. So for me, it's just about consistently working on myself. And that's been a cool thing, like a spiritual journey the last couple of years with COVID, that shines a light. And so I had to do a lot of personal work on that. But yeah, I feel very, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for anything. Right. Cause it's my journey.
That's awesome stuff. And now being a family guy yourself, do you try and maybe push a comeback to those kind of shows? Because kids these days don't really have those Nickelodeon shows, those feel-good child actor shows where it's funny and it's something they can relate to. Do you think maybe kids these days need a little bit of that?
When you say
kind of like shows like all that.
I'm a family guy. I don't have children yet.
Right, but I know you're married, so that's I mean,
I'm not even married yet. I have a girlfriend.
No, I don't. I thought that was your wife. Okay, oh,
I was just like, wait, am I a family guy? And have I?
I thought you were married. No, you didn't have kids. I saw that part. I thought you were. Oh my God, I'm dying there. All right, well, thanks, Josh.
I'm like, I owe a lot of people a phone call.
You should. Mr. and Mrs., we apologize.
No, but I think there was I want that. I want to going in that direction, want a family for myself, definitely a late bloomer in that way. But like I would say kind of goes back to what we were saying, Joel, right? You gotta like take care of your own stuff before you bring kids into the world. but I think there is a big gap. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't speak to a lot of the kids programming right now, because I'm not a consumer of it as much. Because if I had kids, I would obviously see a lot more. But I have a lot of friends with kids, and there's some really great stuff out there. Like my sister and I have 2 nephews, and they're watching stuff. They're really, really young. But I guess your question is, do you feel like there's a gap between what we had back in the 90s for Nickelodeon? Is that the question?
Absolutely. That's why you're on the show, brother. You nailed it. That's exactly what I mean, because I just botched the hell out of it.
I'm not knocking any programming for kids now, but what I will say is I think there was something special back then.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
Simpler time, kids playing in cul-de-sacs, just different. Like it was a different time. And I know that what we created, or what was like kind of that magic of the Nickelodeon Disney time at that time. Like, I just know that kids like didn't have their phones, right? Like things like that. They were rushing back to sit down and watch their favorite shows on Nickelodeon. Right. Or I think, yes, it was a special time and there was a lot of special programming, but I think maybe that's what's lacking is like, them that having that being the best part of their day, where they would come back and watch all their favorite shows and they didn't have it on access, like right there on their,
on their phone. Yeah. And I know for Friday night for me in grade school, I would rush home and, really not have any plans, but my plans was, what was it called? It was Kablam. It was all that. And
are you talking about Snick?
Snick.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
He's good. That is good.
And that was my Friday.
I'm going to redeem myself. I'm back.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on the show, brother.
Now I got to redeem myself after that, but we'll get to me.
People rallied around the TV and that was their favorite time, and you got all your friends together. And I think I still think there's a ton of great stuff out there right now for kids, but I think maybe that's things that were maybe, maybe a little bit more wholesome back then. And that was, I think, the magic in it, maybe.
But I think the magic of all that was, it was like a Saturday Night Live for kids. It was slapstick. It was funny. You guys like went there. Like Lori would say some off the wall stuff like
Yeah.
during her things. So yeah, she might be canceled right now.
Well,
But
we had a man, it was such an amazing, like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. It was kind of like all the planets aligned at the same time, right?
Magic in a bottle.
We had magic in a bottle, right? And you really, even if you put together a perfect show and that's the concept and this is what you want it to be, it doesn't always happen that way, right? And so we had these writers and producers that were writing amazing, funny stuff. And then you had this team of kids, Lori and Keenan and Kel, they were beasts. Danny and Amanda, like just so many hitters, right? And then because I think we created that environment and they nurtured that environment, we were always trying to make each other laugh.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
And there was, we were all teenagers, so there was a little bit of a level of an adult humor mixed with the wholesomeness. Right. So I just think it created where adults would sit down and watch all that with their kids. And I remember adults used to come up to us and be like, "Oh man, we have to watch kids TV, hours." And we actually we laugh at your show because we would throw a lot of inside jokes and things that we were trying to make each other laugh about.
Oh,
last week's guest, Drew Smith. Thank you very much, Drew.
Yes,
thanks for tuning in.
But I agree with that. Oh, I'm sorry to
go
cut
ahead.
you off, Jeff. But
No, go ahead. It's all you.
Find the dynamics of Keenan and Kel work great together, and then you and Keenan, and then you and Amanda. It just everything was it popped off. It popped off in the best way. Even if it was a mistake, it still felt like.
I remember sometimes they'd let things where we laughed go more on a Saturday Night Live thing, and they would leave it in the taped content.
That's great.
They really kind of nurtured this environment where, I remember going to we would do run throughs for the producers every night, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we would rehearse, and we started getting to the point where we would try to get our jokes, our characters, or our things in the show. Again, a la much like Saturday Night Live. So we were always trying to one up each other, and it created this momentum for really funny stuff. And sometimes they'd be like, "Josh, you can't do that," or "We're going to take this out, Keenan," or whatever. Sometimes they got to the point, and I think more first season, this was happening a little bit, but when you started to get into later seasons, they would just be Kel enters in a dress and does what he does.
Right.
Right. And then Kel would just go, or whatever, or Josh would come in and it was usually me in a dress, but whatever. The point was they started to trust us, and we started to trust ourselves.
That's amazing. It really is.
You're young. That's not always the case, right?
Right.
You're kind of still trying to figure yourself out and your sensibilities and your comic, what makes you laugh and what makes you unique. And so there was this weird thing of us growing as comedians, but also the show growing and trusting the comedians that they put on the stage. And it was just, like you said, Jewel, it all kind of worked and it hit. And so it was, I don't even remember being aware of it when it was happening, because you were just there in it. But now I look back and it feels like magic in a bottle.
It's awesome. And you see, because it had to be a little bit nerving in the beginning to kind of take that step. And once you realize you had this stuff, especially as a young guy, you got to have that confidence, hey, I can nail this. And I read a little caption where you guys all said, "Our lunch break is better than yours." Things got funny and a lot of ribbing and such on your break.
We were also going to school at that time. So we had there was schoolroom fodder. We would,
oh my God.
I remember in OG Orlando, there was this place called The Grill. You would basically not leave the lot. It was on the lot, but it was this cafeteria with all the everyone there from production. And so we would go eat lunch there. Or I remember one time me, Keenan, and Kel went out in all of our hair and makeup. And we just when the show was shooting in LA, and we
in a dress, or
well, I want to say Keenan was in Miss Piddlin. I want to say that. I might be wrong. It was a long time ago in the 90s. But Kel had Coach Cretin on, and just picture all of us in our sketch stuff, and we just left the studio and like walked to like Astro Burger, if people in LA know what Astro Burger is, or you know, like we went to a fast food joint and just ordered and just kept it real casual. So we
Wow.
would just after a while we were off the wall. We were trying to make each other laugh.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great thing. And I know like the generation, Jewel, my wife are separated by a few years. They know it to a T. When we first got you on, Jules, like Josh Server, and it took me a few minutes to get it because I didn't watch as often. And then once I remembered and started getting into the old videos, it had me laughing and just getting into the show. And,
You had all that PTSD. You just like all of a sudden it came
right, exactly. And my wife's like, "Oh my God, I loved him back then." I'm like, "Well, you'd love him now. You grew to be a good-looking guy. God bless you." And she said, "She's like, we get to see him this time." Like, yeah, this time we get to see him. Last time we did.
No, and it's so cool.
Sorry,
I
I
keep-
couldn't.
I hit Siri I hit Siri by accident. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to talk about.
Sorry, the podcast is over. It's just I've had enough.
Talked enough 90s tonight. Did you see
No.
that new movie coming out? It's called The Cocaine Bear.
No, I have not.
I've heard about it. I'm afraid to even see previews.
I have heard about it. I've seen a preview. It's based on a real story. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what's scary.
Man, could you imagine? But yeah, you said The Cocaine Sisters. I'm like, I just went to the movies to see that Megan movie, and The Cocaine Bear came up. I'm like,
Are you going to see it?
I
Is it Elizabeth Banks? Is that who did it? I think she might have either directed it.
she's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's good.
That's awesome, though.
I would see
Don't quote me on any of that. I don't know.
Not a problem. You're safe here. We're just totally live, and everything you say just goes right out.
Yeah.
But you
But that's
said,
the other
like,
thing.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just going to say that's the other thing that's really cool is some of our guests who did the recording and the audio are funny about coming on video because it's live and you kind of have to deliver, but it's something that's kind of how you grew up. Like you said, you're used to being on the fly and saying the right thing and being funny. And so it's got to be an advantage doing interviews, live interviews, stuff like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's always fun, exciting. There's a little like that shot of adrenaline anytime you do something live, right?
Sure. We get it every time.
What's that?
We get it every week. We do
That's
it.
It keeps you excited and honest in the show. That's awesome. But like, yeah, I mean, I remember we did a full 100% live episode, which was crazy because we used to tape in front of a live audience,
Sure.
but we didn't do the entire show live, right? And then I remember I think it was our 100th episode live, and we ran it like SNL where we did it over 2 weeks, right? And so instead of taking a week to prepare, we took 2 weeks, and that was a full live show, and that was intense, right? Because you did it, and then you got to the end of it, and you're just like, what just happened, right? And
Right.
you blink and it's over, and it was so fun. But that experience, I couldn't imagine. Keenan's done like what 20 seasons of that. Like
I
it's
know.
in his bones, and the fact that they make all those changes and sketches, like the way that show operates, like to be in a live environment every week in and week out, like there's just the type of chops that builds. It's pretty awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, and even celebrities, they go on interviews, they're like, SNL is so grueling. It's every day. Like, these people do this every day, like week in, week out. Like, this is what they do, and it's so much pressure. But it just works. And if it doesn't work, you just have to flow with it, which is what do you do at
You
that point?
pivot, you adjust, you can
Well,
it's okay to make mistakes, and you just keep going. Keep going.
It's okay to marry people off, give them kids they never knew they had. That's the magic of life.
Right. I just wanted to check.
Yep.
Number one, and I wanted to fact check your research, buddy. I was like,
Yeah.
Jeff, gotta go back to the drawing board.
Wait, am I?
I blew that one. Yeah, and I blew that one.
It's all right, Josh. He asked me my
I would
age
like to
earlier
be.
on my birthday show, and that's
What's
just
that?
not allowed. I said he asked me my age earlier on my birthday show, and that's just not allowed.
Oh yeah,
I know.
that's a no. Even me, even a kid actor from the 90s knows that.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get an answer. My
sorry.
wife's gonna be, you asked her age,
He's got
which I'm
a
supposed to
really
know
low,
by
he's
now.
got
But
a really low bar, you know?
Yeah. Thanks for that.
we've only been doing this for 5 years now. How would I possibly know your age?
Yeah. How many episodes have you guys done? Like, this is
This is 228.
28.
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh.
for 5
That's
years.
awesome. Congratulations, guys. That's amazing.
Thank you.
But
And
I
that
have,
coming from you, that means everything. Go ahead, Joel. Get in there. I'm
no,
rambling.
I have to say, because when we started the show and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we can reach out to anyone. You just popped into my mind. I'm like, I'm such a fan, and I just thought about the people I was fans of growing up, and obviously Nick was a huge part of that. But like seeing you guys week in week out, just it really affected us 90s kids, and I think it developed our sense of humor in a way too. So it has to be crazy. Like you guys set the tone. You set the tone for comedy and just the jokes that we
Well,
find
first of
funny.
all, I mean, thank you for that. That means a lot. It means a lot to me that you guys wanted me to have me on early,
Sure.
in 2017, and then bring me back. And that the fact that you chose this, Jeff, for her birthday surprise, I'm honored.
Thank you. You're actually the first person who came to mind from remembering when we did audio. And like I said, I'm thinking like, I need somebody
Yeah,
great.
don't. I was
My
like,
right-handed guy
I
should
never
pass
get
out
any
right here.
kids, but I couldn't get him.
It was either you or Linda Carter.
I can't compete.
I don't know. You're like I
can't
said,
compete.
you were
The-
a legend. And
Yeah.
and Jules mine and mine, the 90s kids, you're a legend. You really are. That character and all that.
You guys are so nice.
And all that.
You're all that.
Just to kind of go back to what Jewel was saying, like the ripple effect, that you feel, that's really cool. It's so cool. Like, I don't think any of us take it lightly. I know it means a lot to me. Like the fact that you have, and it's interesting. We were talking about like the differences in the 90s shows and like what's different now. Like back in the day, we didn't really know the impact. There was a lag time, right? Where,
Right.
People didn't have phones back then. You couldn't, they didn't have the internet. They couldn't instantly tell you that the show meant so much to them, right? So
Right.
it's like years later, you find out what kind of impact it had. And I just know that recently with, all the reunions and the show rebooting in 2019 and the Comic-Cons, like this stuff that we've done and the things that you see people post, it means so much to me. It really does. And to be part of something that meant so much to so many people is really cool. And then, I'll go on these sets sometimes and, the people and the writers and the producers, like in the writer's room, will come up to you and say, I started doing comedy and writing comedy because of all that. And like, you're like, what? It's really, it's very, very cool. So I just want to take a second and acknowledge that.
Oh, then thank you so much. And I think it speaks to what kind of programming Nick always came out with. If it wasn't all that or some new show for the kids, even animated, because a ton of animated shows from Nickelodeon are amazing.
Yeah, they were crushing animated shows back then, and all of them were.
And even like Avatar, I mean SpongeBob, they're groundbreaking. Like they're so amazingly well written, and Avatar is one of my favorite shows of all time. I love it. But even if Nick didn't give you that, it gave you the good old stuff like Lucy and Dobie Gillis and just Bewitched, like Nick and Night.
Yeah, Nick and Night. Yeah.
Nick and Night.
Incredible. So I would always love Nick for that and just bringing us great programming.
Actually, hold on. I might. I don't know. I moved some of my nostalgia stuff.
Oh my god.
to my storage unit, but hold that thought on the Nick and Night.
We're gonna hold. This is very exciting.
Hold on.
It's funny. Before he came on, a few minutes before he came on, we were saying something. I said all that, and I'm like, I did it again. I'm like all that, and you didn't catch it. I was like throwing the hint out there too, and he's super cool. It's great that he's here, and
I do have some all that swag. I can pull out some all that swag, but I have some like just old school like vintage Nickelodeon stuff.
Oh my god!
Like, but I want to make. I know, like what?
just like hoodies and stuff that is like wrap party gifts and you know.
Do you have the ears? Do you have the ears?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I've been asked that before. I have a Good Burger starter jacket in there.
Oh my God.
oh.
That's
Yeah. You
amazing.
want to see that? You want to see that? Because I kind of built it up.
Yes.
If you
Yeah,
can,
look
sure.
it up.
We'd love to see that. Are you kidding me? This is so cool. It really is. I love the nostalgia stuff.
I built it up.
Holy crap.
I built
Oh
it
my
up
God, look at that.
like an Adidas kind of starter Good Burger jacket,
That's
right?
so cool.
Vibes.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the
No,
Good
Good
Burger.
Burger.
Can't even take your
Yeah,
own.
I have a bunch of stuff in storage that if we ever do a third episode, I'll do an unveiling. I'll do an
I
unveiling.
tell you what.
I'll do
There you
an
go. Yeah, an unboxing. And honestly, like I was going to say that to the end. We would absolutely love to have you back anytime. Another project lands or just got things going on. And like I said, your PR team is so great and so fast response. We'd love to have you on, dude. You were a class act. You're hilarious.
I'll tell them you said nice things. Yeah, I'm very blessed. I got some amazing people in my in my corner, right? And it takes a village of people to like
Oh, sure.
really support you in the industry like this. So I'm really grateful for the people that so that's nice that you said that. So yeah, they're awesome. They're killing it.
Terrific. Two
Is
things.
on Good Burger now?
Yeah, it was a good burger, of course. We all do. Two things before we let
There's
you
a lot of chatter.
Oh, I like that.
I can't confirm or deny.
Oh.
All right.
A lot of
I
chatter.
like that. I love that.
We love a Comic-Con though. Comic-Con always,
Yeah.
it's very big.
What's that?
Comic-Con in Philadelphia is very big in the summer, so you can
Oh yeah.
make your way.
How's Philly, by the way, guys? Is good?
It's good. It's a little chilly. The
Yeah.
atmosphere right now with with the
You
Eagles
guys
is
are
it's nuts.
just fired up. I don't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah.
Well, we just had a World Series here. Unfortunately, we lost. Now we got this, NFC Championship. So yeah, it's pretty rowdy around. We're actually starting to like each other a little bit.
I am
in this
not
town.
catering to you or your fan base, but I'm rooting for the Eagles on.
All right, you heard it. Absolutely. Excellent. Before we let you go, two things. Number one, I want Jewel to just give you something from the bottom of her heart to say before you go. And secondly, I don't know if you're a singer, but usually the special guest hits the happy birthday note for the.
No, Jeff, you can take it.
Okay, I'll take that.
That is not something my PR team.
Nobody said that. It's not on there.
It's not on my rider singing birthday songs. I'll pick it up. Like I can do the you do the highs and lows. I'll do the harmonies, whatever. I am not the best singer, admittedly.
We'll let you off the hook.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
do our best. I wouldn't. We were not going to leave you hanging. I just need you to take point, Jeff. That's all.
Right.
All right, are we ready? Happy birthday to you.
Oh wow, look at him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jewel Tatey from Jeff and Superstar Josh Surfer. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Josh, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Oh, at that point, I just needed to support him. The songbird of a generation, right there.
Right.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. Who's this?
This is Joey. Say hi, Josh. Hi.
Hi, Joey.
All right.
She's got her watching.
That's awesome.
So cool.
What was the other thing? You said there was two things, right?
I wanted Jewel to kind of just express her love and appreciation of you and the things you've done, which she has done, and getting you to sing. I understand that. I mean, Jewel had somebody singing Scandinavian to me one time, so yeah.
No, but I really appreciate you taking the time. This has been so incredible, and yeah, like I said. Oh, and we have Betsy Russell coming up, and she was first an audio interview, and then she's coming on live and in person, and it's just so cool. This way, we get to see you, and we just appreciate you so much, and thank you very much.
And vice versa. I appreciate you guys. Happy birthday. I don't know which birthday it is because Jeff asked earlier.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it. But I'm wishing you the absolute best birthday on Friday, and have an amazing day, and you deserve it. And again, thank you guys so much for having me on the show. It's always a blast to hear you, but now also see you guys.
And likewise, it was really as great as it was the first time. You were terrific, and it is to talk, to see you and get the emotions off all three of us, and just watch the facial reactions and the response. It's just amazing. It's one of the greatest inventions ever. We're blessed to have this. We're blessed to have.
Look at us in the future.
I know, right? We're like George Jetson doing this shit right
And
now.
all that's good.
The next podcast will be on Mars. I mean, we're just, you know what? If we space it out long enough, we're just going to continue to advance technologically.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like, you know, we probably have to like push it out another 4 or 5 years and just see where we're at.
Yeah, we'll have like a.
Holograms.
Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Earl. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so many.
Absolutely awesome.
Enjoyed and hopped on.
So a huge thanks to Josh Server, just a classic actor, and you can check some of the past episodes of all that and introduce your kids to it because it's great programming, it's great stuff. And dude, you're world class. Can't thank you enough to come out here tonight and do it. And your PR team said you were excited. You showed every bit of excitement. It was great, and I hope it means a lot to Jewel and Joey. It means a lot to me. I know that, and we're going to talk soon, man. I'll get back to your people.
Thank you guys for all the support over the years. And yeah, we'll talk soon. And you guys have a great night, okay?
You too. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Josh Server, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I got to tell you, Joe, that was, man, awesome. He's a good dancer. He don't like to sing, but he's a good dancer.
Yeah, a 1.5 threat. Bye, guys.
See you later.